Okay, in the last part we cut down a standard bush to this, and then I just finished wiring the bonsai. So I'm just going to do the final design. So now I can bend the branches any way I want. I want the tree to come towards you and kind of hug you. Let's see. Okay. Give it some 3D structure. Okay, this is the first branch, which kind of define the tree. The second branch, just going to make it a little bit open. Okay, the third branch, fourth branch. Oh, the wire, it's still too long, forgot to cut it. This is a wire cutter, by the way. I think this branch going to make it lean forward a little bit. Move. Okay, so the last is the apex. Just going to so this is basically inform upright or S-shape. S-shape bonsai, pretty standard now. So this is my first bonsai. It's obviously not perfect. You can see on this side there's almost no branch coming out. but it's fine. Bonsai is a living art. It developed over the years. So hopefully in the future on this side, we will develop some branches. But as a novice, as my first bonsai, I feel quite content with this design. Also, I'm probably going to tilt it a little bit, so I still need to repot it and into a new pot instead of the training pot. So I'm just going to tease out the root base of the tree. The soil are still pretty good. You can see a lot of bark, pine bark in there. It's probably mixture of pine bark and moss, peat moss. It's good for young trees. Just going to tease out the root a little bit so that it can fit into a new pot. Because it's my first tree, it may not even survive, so I'm not buying a very expensive pottery pot. What I bought is these plastic pots, which is maybe $1 each, but it's pretty beautiful, and you don't have to put screen on the bottom. It's already made into the bonsai pot. Tease out the root. I'm just going to see if this is going to fit into the pot, because there are so much root, very rigorous root, so we really can, if we want, really can cut away some of the roots. Okay, so this scissor with the big handle is the root cutter. Just going to cut away a lot of the roots. So that it's so you can see it come from a deep pot, and I'm going to put it into a small pot. So I need to clean up a lot of the roots. Still a little bit big, cannot fit, so just going to continue to tease out the roots. There's a big root here. I'm just going to cut it. The big roots are not functionally very useful. It's the fine root that's the most useful for the tree to suck in nutrition and water and like that. So I'm not afraid of keep cutting out big roots. Okay, almost fit. Because this pot is deep, so I'm not worried about So there's a big root here. Cut out. So I'm just going to cut out some root from the radius direction so that this would fit into the pot. Just going to cut. Okay, let's see. Okay, it fits. It fits into the pot. So now I'm just going to position it in the pot. I'm going to use this as the front. So a lot of the old soil, they are still pretty good soil. So I'm just going to put a lot of the old soil back. So get rid of these roots. And I'm going to put a lot of the old soil back. Pretty nice soil. Use this as the front. So continue to put all the soils back. It's still pretty nice. You can see a lot of pine bark in it, which encourage healthy microorganism growth. Also retain water well. So before you think this is full, we are going to use the chopsticks to get the soil under the root. So I have a beautiful chopstick here, which come with, I think with one of the bonsai soil I bought. So there's a pH strip to test the pH of the soil. I'm probably not going to use it, but I like this chopstick, so I'm just going to use the chopsticks to kind of poke on the soil. And when you poke on it, the soil is going to get into the space of the roots, and you can see when you poke on it, the plant kind of sink because the soil are getting in. So you can get a lot more soil under the plant by doing this. And you can see that the plant, when you're doing it, the plant is still moving. That means there is still plenty of space. Under the root base. Say hello to all. Okay, we can add more soil. Add more soil to this side. This is still the soil that the tree come with. It's pretty good nursery soil, so I'm not going to use a new soil right now because soil here is still pretty good. Just going to cover the roots. Just not going to put it into bonsai soil yet. This is still a very young plant. I want it to grow a little bit more. Look at Ua. He's trying to get into that bonsai, that nursery pot. Okay, Ua. Just going to continue. You can see now the motion of the tree kind of decrease. That means there are less space between the roots and the soil. Continue to work the soil in. Naya is very curious of the tree too. Ooh, oh! Oh, are you fine? He's fine. Continue to work the soil into the root. You can see the soil is still sinking into the pot. That means you can still add more soil. Oh, it's destroying my other plants. We still have some space on the edge. We are just going to continue add soil. Continue add soil to it. Continue to work the soil into the space. Just going to add. You would be surprised how much soil we can add into this small pot. It's almost all the soil from that big pot, minus the root, basically fit into this new tiny pot. I bought a lot of bonsai soil. If I knew that the old soil would do, I probably would not buy them. Okay, I think the space are basically full, and I'm just going to cover the surface roots with a little bit more soil and call the repotting. Of course, the last step of repotting is watering, but I just call the adding soil done. These are probably sphagnum moss. And pine bark. So it's standard nursery soil. It's still pretty good soil. You can see the pine bark are not breaking down yet. So I think it's good to use it for the new tree, just for their health. Okay, I have repotted this new tree, and I'm just going to look at the bonsai angle again and see if it's the correct angle. That is to be flat. These are fine. Some branch to be growing to the back a little bit. Oh no, this branch is growing to the back, so I want this to be up front. Okay, I think this is my first bonsai, so I'm going to call him Adam. I'm just going to give him a good watering and let it grow for a couple of months and see if it survives. before that, I'm probably going to clean up this mess on the table. We still have plenty of soil, so I'm just going to collect the soil so that we can use it to plant other things. So this bonsai pot also come with this, so it's very handy. Very handy. Okay, I'm just going to give this a thorough watering. That's a little bit messy. I think the water stream kind of a little bit too much, so it brings out a lot. Some of the surface soil, I'm just going to add to it. Watering is a little bit too intense to cover some of the surface roots. Okay, that should be good. That should be good. So I would just give it a 360-degree rotation. I think this is the front. This is the front. I'm just going to give it a 360-degree rotation. It's still a very bare tree, but I hope that first it survives, and maybe over the year it would grow into a beautiful bonsai. So thanks for watching. So this is the creation of my first bonsai, Adam.